Time for a award-winning mailbag segment here on Seahawks Today as we answer your questions that you bring us on our live shows that we do on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. People use the hashtag Seahawks. They super chat. We answer their questions in real time. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you can be a part of our mailbags. And the bosses told me they don't think we can get 50 subs off today's video. I think we can prove them wrong. Let's show it to the bosses that we can get 50 subs off today's video, that we can keep on growing this channel, that you guys can be a part of our live shows, and that we can have a party here on Seahawks Today each and every day. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Daily news and rumors for free. Mailbags, live shows, watch parties, and more. Let's get 50 subs off today's video. I believe we can do it. Yes, we can. First question comes from Matthew. What are your top 5 favorite teams in the NFL? For me, it's the Seahawks, the Vikings, Bengals, Bills, Steelers, and Tom Brady. Hey, you know what? The right question. I'll phrase it this way. I think you mean who the favorite teams you cheer for. And so it's only Seahawks is the only correct answer here on this channel. It's Seahawks, and then it doesn't matter who the other 4 are. Then I think the number one job as a Seahawks fan is to be a Seahawks fan, one, and then to boo and hate the Niners, Cardinals, and Rams. That your next favorite teams are who those teams are playing against, and whoever plays against the Cowboys, because it's always a good day when the Cowboys lose. Okay, now who are the teams that I think are the best in the NFL this year? The next 5, if I were to answer the other part of that question. I think the Chiefs and Bills are the top 2 teams in the league this year. Chiefs 1, Bills 2. I think the Bengals are up there. The Eagles, and then Niners, Seahawks are along that edge there. I think that's your top 5 or 6 teams in the league as far as that goes. Mike Bang! Bang! All right, so what draft pick do you think will be the biggest surprise this year? Guy we talked about on the channel this week, and he's making some noise, and I think that he's going to have a bigger role than what some people may realize. He could start right away, actually. His 4th-round selection, Anthony Bradford, out of LSU. And history tells us that Pete Carroll and company is not afraid to play young players early on in their careers. So, what about that possibility? Anthony Bradford, we know the Seahawks have a need at right guard. Anthony Bradford might be the guy that makes sense for the Seahawks potentially, and he could really surprise some folks. And think about this, okay? Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, who were your starting right tackles last year, obviously coming back. Their strengths are pass blocking. Anthony Bradford, his strength is run blocking. So then you start to mix things up a bit. That, I think, could be a nice balance between the two. So, Mike, there's your answer there. I think that Anthony Bradford is the guy I'm watching for. Hi, Brian Bosworth. The Boz. I love the Boz. Boomer. That one's for Big Tex. Brian Bosworth writes in, hashtag Seahawks. I know we are loaded at wide receiver, but D-Hop is still available. Is there any chance we sign this? Well, the Boz, welcome. Glad you are in the chat. Boz, I love the Boz. How many of you guys seen the ESPN 30 for 30, Brian and the Boz? Seahawks legend, Brian Bosworth. Anyways, as far as signing D-Hop, highly unlikely, Boz. As you mentioned, they're loaded. The Seahawks are stacked at receiver. DeAndre Hopkins is going to cost too much money than what the Seahawks would pay him. And it's just quite frankly not a need. I think wherever D-Hop goes, he's going to want to be a number 1 or number 2 receiver. And the Seahawks have their top 3 receiver lineup set for the next few years as far as that goes. So there's just not a spot for D-Hop. It's not happening. But Boz, good to have you here. Bower. Should the Seahawks sign DeAndre Hopkins? That's our pinned comment today. Might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. Should the Seahawks sign DeAndre Hopkins or not? Let me know in the comment section. Y for yes, N for no. Mark writes, who has more yards, DK or JSN? I think DK will. DK is going to be on the outside. He knows the scheme already. He's familiar with Geno Smith already. DK, I think, we've seen in his first few seasons in the league, every year has been either right below or just past 1,000 yards receiving. His numbers have been pretty similar almost every year he's been in the National Football League. I think that this should be the year that DK takes that next step up, that he becomes one of the elite receivers, one of the best in the league. That should be the expectation. He takes that next step. I think DK can get more yards than JSN. Mike Bang says, would you rather be tackled by a prime Kam Chancellor or ran over by a prime Marshawn Lynch? Mike, can I select neither? Those sound awful, both those circumstances. Here's how I'm going to answer this, okay? Hear me out, Mike. Here's what I would do in this scenario that you've painted here. I am going to take some type of cushion of some sorts. And Kam Chancellor, I'll take the tackle, assuming I can fall back on the cushion of some sorts. If I get ran over, boom, by Marshawn Lynch, like I'm not getting up. I'm down. Like I'm falling on the ground, right? I'm gonna take in this scenario, getting run over, getting tackled by Kam Chancellor, soft landing, and maybe I'm okay. You're the man. No, you're the man. I think this is Wayne/George Santos checking in. Can the Seahawks beat the 49ers in 2023? Yes. Yes, they can. The 49ers don't know what their quarterback is going to be, although the 49ers are a very solid team, and they got a lot put together on this 49ers team. I think the Seahawks very well could beat this 49ers team with a better quarterback, loaded at the receiver spot, loaded at the running back position. It all comes down to how much can you stop the run, because Christian McCaffrey ran all over this Seahawks team not once but twice last year. How much can you slow him down? That is the million-dollar question. Cheeto Man. What's the best type of Cheeto? My answer would have to be the crunchy. Crunchy, then puffs. Not a huge fan of the flaming hot myself. How deep in the NFC playoffs will Seattle get in 2023? As the roster is assembled right now, I think you're looking at a team that could get to the divisional round. If they get the help we've been talking about for months on end for the interior of the defensive line, then maybe at that point you're talking about them getting to the conference title game or maybe even the Super Bowl at that point. But as the roster is assembled at this moment, I think their ceiling is probably the divisional round. Beast Mode writes in, I'm not sold on Jordyn Brooks. What about trading for Devin White? So this is an interesting thing you bring up here, Beast Mode. Jordyn Brooks, the Seahawks did not give the fifth-year option to. He's coming off the ACL injury. And then if you want to take it a step further, the nerds at Pro Football Focus have never liked Jordyn Brooks. Despite, what was it, a year or two ago, he was second in the league in tackles and all that, the tackling machine he's been. The nerds and those analytic nut jobs, for whatever reason, have never liked Jordyn Brooks. So I'll say this. I would like to see how Jordyn Brooks is coming off injury before moving on from him or whatever it may be. I think you need to see if he looks okay, if he recovers fine. If I'm trading for Devin White, I'm not giving up on Jordyn Brooks right away. Because what you could happen is this might just be a one-year stint with Bobby Wagner. He's only got 1 year left in the contract. Maybe it's a situation where you bring in Devin White and then next year you start Jordyn Brooks and Devin White side by side potentially. I mean, all is up in the air at this point. So let me say this. I like Brooks. I like Bobby Wagner, all those guys there. but let's not bring in one guy and just give up on Jordyn Brooks quite yet. Let's see how he recovers from injury. Should the Seahawks trade for Devin White? Weigh in the comment section. T for trade, P for pass. Tell me what you think. T for trade, P for pass. In the comment section, what the Seahawks should do. Last question here from Mike Bang. Mike wants to know, is it Pete's last year if we miss the playoffs? I don't think so. It would – I'll say this, it's going to be very tough for Seattle to miss the playoffs because the NFC is weak and we have more teams that go to the postseason than ever before. So I don't think the Seahawks are going to be missing the playoffs. So I think Pete's still going to coach at least a few more seasons. I don't think he's going anywhere yet. We'll see ultimately how it plays out, but I think Pete Carroll is going to be back around Seattle as far as I'm concerned.